All right, so today we're tackling mice, specifically how to get rid of them and keep them out, especially if you are in Innisfail, Alberta, or the surrounding areas. We had a listener question about the best way to handle a mouse situation, so we are going to be digging into Innisfail Pest Control to see what they offer.
Good choice. Looks like they cover a lot of ground, literally. Their website mentions they handle everything from houses and apartments to farms and acreages.
Yeah, that's right. And, they even have this really cool feature. You can text the exterminator directly. No more phone tag or waiting on hold. Just shoot them a message. Talk about convenient.
Yeah.
But let's get into the nitty-gritty here. They use something called single feed bait, which they claim can eliminate mice in just one feeding. Have you heard of this?
Absolutely. Single feed bait is a game changer compared to what you'd find in stores. Think of it as a much more potent and targeted approach. With retail bait, mice often need to feed multiple times to ingest a lethal dose, which can lead to all sorts of problems.
Like what? I'm all ears because I've definitely been tempted to just grab something off the shelf.
Well, for starters, there's a risk those little nibblers aren't getting enough bait to actually do the trick. That means they can survive and potentially develop resistance, making them even harder to get rid of down the road.
Oh, so it's like the antibiotic resistance issue we hear about with bacteria.
Exactly. Professional grade bait is formulated to be much safer, with ingredients that are highly targeted to mice and less likely to harm other animals or humans.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So professional bait is more effective and safer. Now let's talk about the service plans, because Innisfail Pest Control offers a few different options, right?
They do. They have a single visit option, which is great for tackling a small one-time infestation. And then they have 2 protection plans, a 6-month plan and a 1-year plan.
So what's the deal with these protection plans? Looks like they include follow-up visits if needed.
Yes. And this is where their approach gets really interesting. Both the 6-month and 1-year plans include up to 1 visit per month if there's any mouse activity.
Hold on. Up to 1 visit. So they're not just automatically showing up every month regardless.
That's right. They're not just going through the motions. They'll assess the situation each month and only come back if there are signs of ongoing mouse activity. It's like having an expert on call, but you only pay for the service when it's actually needed.
That's pretty smart. It gives you peace of mind knowing they're there if you need them. But you're not paying for unnecessary visits.
Okay, so I've got the single visit for those one-off situations and the protection plans for
Ongoing peace of mind.
Fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But how do you know which plan is right for you? What factors should someone consider when making that decision?
Well, that's where you really need to think about the severity and frequency of the mouse problem. If you've just seen a mouse or two and there isn't much evidence of them hanging around, then a single visit might be enough to take care of it.
Like a surgical strike team. In and out, problem solved.
Precisely. But if you're seeing signs of mice regularly, or you're worried about them coming back, then one of those protection plans might be a better investment.
Especially if you're in an area where mice are common, or your property is particularly attractive to those little critters.
Exactly. It's like preventative medicine for your home. You're not just reacting to a problem, you're actively discouraging mice from setting up shop in the first place.
I like that analogy. So it seems like the single visit is for those who like to handle things as they come up, while the protection plans offer a more proactive, worry-free approach.
You got it. And remember, even with the protection plans, Innisfail Pest Control isn't just going to show up every month and spray whether it's needed or not. They'll assess the situation and only come back if there are actual signs of mouse activity.
Right. So you're not locked into unnecessary visits. It's more like having an expert on call ready to step in when needed. Speaking of their service area, we mentioned they cover Innisfail and the surrounding areas. But what does that actually look like? How far out do they go?
Well, their website specifically mentions that they service both residential and commercial properties, including acreages and farms. So whether you're dealing with mice in a suburban home, a downtown apartment, or a large rural property, they seem to have it covered.
That's good news for anyone living in or around Innisfail. No matter your situation, it sounds like you can access professional-grade pest control.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to emphasize that mice aren't just a nuisance. They can pose serious health risks. They can contaminate food, spread diseases, and even trigger allergies.
Plus, let's not forget about the property damage they can cause. Chewing through wires, insulation, you name it.
Exactly. So addressing a mouse problem isn't just about peace of mind. It's about protecting your health and your property.
All great points. So to sum things up, if you're in the Innisfail area and find yourself battling those pesky mice, Innisfail Pest Control might be the answer you've been looking for.
I'd have to agree. They seem to have a comprehensive approach with a focus on effectiveness and safety, plus the convenience of texting your exterminator directly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot about mice and what Innisfail Pest Control offers. So to wrap things up, if you're in the Innisfail area and dealing with mice, or any pests for that matter, Innisfail Pest Control seems like a great resource to have in your back pocket.
I agree. They've got that local expertise, the focus on safe and effective solutions, and they make it super easy to connect with them directly.
And that's what we love to see, making life a little easier. Well, that's it for our deep dive today. We hope you found this information helpful.
As always, thanks for joining us. And remember, knowledge is power when it comes to protecting your home and family.